Leo, welcome to your February 2020 Astro Update and General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. I'm combining the two readings that I normally do separately, just because, just to do things a little bit differently. In having done so, I've decided that I do like separating them, and that's when I first started here, I combined them, and I think that it's too distracting to have to go back and forth, but you're the last sign that I'm doing, so I'm just going to stick with it. So just shuffling the cards here. As I shuffle the cards, the sun is in Aquarius until the 18th of the month, and you may already know that Aquarius is your opposite sign. So the sun is in your 7th house, and this is going to highlight relationship issues. Now, if you're single, you may be thinking about having that committed relationship. A Leo is a very romantic sign to begin with, and you are a loving person who would definitely, I would think, prefer to be in a romantic relationship than to be single. And so this is a time when this may be highlighted for you, that feeling of wanting to be in one. If you are already coupled, this may be like putting attention on your partner. Mercury is also in this sector until the 3rd of the month, and then Mercury goes into the 8th house. And this is the area of committed partnership. Intimacy. So the 7th house is the marriage. 8th house is the, soul diving, okay? This is the intimacy, whether it's sexual intimacy or emotional intimacy, especially I would say emotional intimacy, because this is a water house. And so Mercury going here is really you connecting with the deeper things in life. If there's some kind of a legal matter, because the 7th house can be legal, the 8th house can be, matters concerning shared resources, including inheritances, and there may be some kind of a contract. There's going to be a Mercury retrograde here, so if there is something along those lines, whether it's like a divorce, that could be it too. With the sun in the 7th house, you could be in the courtroom. 7th house can be the courtroom, and you could be dividing up your property between you and another person, and something can get stalled, confused with Mercury in the 8th house, some agreement, so just be aware of that. Venus goes into Aries on the 7th, fellow fire energy, so Venus has been in this 8th house, and Venus can bring money, so there may be some connection with money and that of the dead, or in terms of you and an ex-partner, a dead relationship, if you will. And when Venus goes into 9th house, this can be great for falling in love with somebody from a totally different background than you, or a different country. On the 9th, there's a full moon in your sign, and this is at 20 degrees of Leo. Now, I always, as soon as I found out this was on the 9th of February, I thought, well, I can remember this very easily, because does anybody remember what special thing happened on February 9th, the year before I was born, 1964? The Beatles performed on Ed Sullivan for the first time. So that's how I always remember about this full moon. Okay, is that random enough for you, Leo? Let me start laying out the cards. Okay, this one kind of just came out. There's your lawyer. And there's your love situation. Maybe you're having an affair with your lawyer. I don't know. There definitely is like a relationship vibe with this particular reading, so who knows? I try to keep it with a general theme because I also do love readings on here. So, but you know, sometimes the cards just kind of really go into one area. The heart of the matter is the Knight of Swords. Perhaps this is somebody in your life right now who has great importance. I mentioned a lawyer, but it could be a teacher or a writer. The intellect is connected and the communication is connected with swords. So somebody from one of those fields. If it is a lawyer, this person is somebody that maybe you're contacting or dealing with a lot right now. This can also be, you know, there's two cards flanking this Knight of Swords. There's a Lover's card, which by the way is connected to Gemini. Gemini is a compatible sign with you, so you never know. And then we have the Two of Cups on the upper right side. Now this is the spiritual position. So maybe if you are deciding, you know, what to do, perhaps if you're in a relationship with somebody like a Gemini, for instance, there may be somebody from your past that you really want to be with, okay? So I'm just going to talk about this past position. We have the Lover's card. Lover's card is a card of intimacy. It can indicate recently getting intimate with somebody. But that's all that it says. It doesn't say if you also have a current partner. So I have to put that out there. And this is a card sometimes of Gemini, but it can be a card of having to make a choice about something. So, you know, it's kind of interesting that these two cards are flanking the Knight of Swords because this is the higher message. The Two of Cups, the card of reuniting or commitment. So, it's possible, you know, the reason that I want to emphasize reuniting with somebody is because the Mercury retrograde can bring somebody from your past. And who knows? I mean, this may be a situation where you've been wanting this for the longest time. That this person is somebody you've never really gotten over, that you've never forgotten. They always say that Leo is loyal, and the only thing that I can think of, besides the fact that you're very warm-hearted, and warm-hearted people tend to be loyal, is that you are a fixed sign. So you are very stable in everything in life. You don't waver, so you tend to be consistent. People who are fixed signs, Leos, Aquarians, Taurians, and Scorpions, tend to be very consistent, and that can sometimes be construed as stubbornness, and sometimes it is stubbornness. But what it means is that when you love very steadfastly. And even if you have new affairs and things like that, if you really are trying to get over somebody, it may still be difficult. So don't be surprised if somebody comes back into your life and this is a person that you had hoped to be in a relationship with, and there might be reuniting. But this is a spiritual message. So it's really about you coming to terms with whether or not somebody that you have broken up with, or if this is, if the person who represents the Lover's card, let's say it is a Gemini, I'm not, you know, I mean, the other air signs are Libra and Aquarius. And like I said, Aquarius is your opposite sign. But whoever this Knight of Swords is, if it's somebody that you have been trying to get to commit, there is an important spiritual lesson here. The Two of Cups is about mutual love. Okay, this is one of the reasons why if I pulled this card and it was reversed, it would probably indicate that you love somebody who doesn't love you. But this is almost like spiritual advice. So it's really saying, you know, you have to like gravitate towards somebody who is going to love you, and as much as you love them. Since you are a very loving person, Leo, don't settle for less. Don't allow yourself to be involved with somebody who is fickle and who, you know, is here today, gone tomorrow. That might be the Knight of Swords, like the Knight of Wands, can be rather chaotic. Knight energy is fire energy. Okay, so fire and air put together can create like quite a out of control situation, an out of control fire. Wind fans the flames of fire. That was a mouthful. And so this kind of person may be very enthusiastic, and that is certainly a trait that you admire, but it's almost like, whoa, you know, this person is very, you know, I don't know, maybe they just are too unwilling to settle down yet. Maybe they are too elusive because they are, you know, probably because they want their freedom. They don't want to have to just stick to a single relationship. And you may find that frustrating because you're the sun. So you want to shine your light on somebody, but you also want them to reflect in that light and be there, you know, to reflect in that light. What crosses you is the Hierophant, and this is the card of tradition, marriage, conformity. So even for a Leo person, you know, you have your own views on life and your own ways of doing something. So you may not be 100% into conforming to other people's expectations just because that's how it's done. You may have like an independent streak in you. For some people, this may be a Taurus person who is, maybe that's the Lover's card. Maybe you're having a little fling with this person trying to get over the Two of Cups individual, and it's not working, and you have to, you know, in those kinds of situations, what I say is, I'm not sure that the other person is necessarily for you either. However, you don't distract yourself with a frivolous affair that isn't going anyplace and hope to get that other person back. It's not like you don't use placeholders in life to try to, you know, deal with the loss of a relationship, because you have to protect your energy. You have to, you know, relationships, even affairs, are very draining emotionally, even if you think that they're not. I doubt that many people can truly just have a friends with benefits or some kind of like a very loose kind of relationship like that, because, and if they can, they may be somebody who has like some kind of issue where they don't feel. And that's not really what you want to emulate. So there can be excessive conformity with the Hierophant. Maybe you've reached some magical age of 30 or 40 and you think, oh my gosh, I have to be married by now, or I have to be in a serious relationship, because you're kind of comparing yourself to other people. A Leo person would never admit that they compare themselves to other people. But, you know, there are, especially if you have like a social circle, groups of friends, and you feel like this sense of like everybody's talking about their lives, and you feel like, okay, what's wrong with me? I'm not doing this yet. Fire signs, I am a Sagittarian. Fire signs, we are very independent. And so never compare yourself to others and think that there's something wrong with you if you're not doing things on somebody else's timetable. Be your own person. And that includes the kind of, the kind of things that you do to be, the kind of practices in your life, like what kind of relationships you have. Don't assume that you have to imitate other people. That's not how life works when you're being true to yourself. And but that could be like a wayward Taurus person for sure. What's coming in is the Knight of Cups. This is an offer of love. If there's anything career related, this might be in some kind of a healing arts or creative endeavor. You may be like in a field that's using your mind more than your creativity. And that might be something that you're debating about, because with the Hierophant in reverse, you may feel like the life of the artist is too weird and unpredictable and, like unconventional. And that may not sit well with you, but perhaps you're very talented and you really need to value that more. But this could be somebody who is sharing their feelings with you and they're telling you that they care about you. And that would be wonderful if you're open to it. Perhaps that Two of Cups is, if that person, for some reason, you had a misunderstanding, or maybe even on your end, you felt like you dropped the ball in some way. You may still find your way back to that person in February. And the outcome is a great card for a Leo. The Three of Wands. This is about expansion. This is about, going into new territory. So, like I said, maybe you're doing something more creative. The number 3 is a number of creativity, by the way, and fire certainly is, and more independence, whatever this is. And just feeling like you are doing something that really is expanding your world, and that feels really good to you. Maybe you're very enthusiastic about whatever this is that you're involved with. And it's entrepreneurial energy as well. So maybe with the Knight of Cups, you're receiving some offer, somebody that wants to take you on, so to speak, with this. And so I just wanted to give you a couple of more transits. Oh, and by the way, this Knight of Cups person may be artistic. Maybe that's how you meet this person, if it's a romantic interest. And so they expand your world because you share this common love of making art together. Or maybe making music, who knows. So the 16th is when that Mercury retrograde occurs. And that will be in that 8th house. And on the same day, Mars goes into Capricorn. So here we have Mars in Sagittarius for half of the month. And for you, Leo, Sag is your 5th house. So that definitely speaks of some kind of an affair, perhaps. Mars can be the sex drive, and the 5th house can be recreational sex. You rule the 5th house, which is what I just said right there, that is no surprise, knowing, the typical Leo person, that is true. So that might be like kind of sowing your wild oats for some reason. But then it goes into Capricorn, which is more of a practical area. You may be working overtime. It's the workplace, could be working overtime quite a bit. And And the 5th house can be like competitive sports, so you might be doing something along those lines. And then with the 6th house, it could be like some kind of work, like workout routine that you are kind of like you've got like this, you've scheduled in order to, like if you have some kind of a bodybuilding competition or whatever, where you have to train before you can compete and things like that. And then there's a new moon at 4 degrees of Pisces on the 23rd, and that will be in that 8th house. So that could be, oh wait a minute, am I screwing this up? No, that's the 8th, yeah, 8th house. So that could be like some kind of an agreement if there's any kind of probate issue that is going on, because Mercury is in that house, so they're, you know, and is still retrograde. I can't remember when Mercury goes direct. I think it's on March 9th. But you may be hashing out some kind of details with a will or something like that. So, but you may come to some new understanding by the 23rd. But they're still, you know, Mercury's still retrograde until March 9th. Okay, that's what I have for you, Leo. If you would like a personal reading, the link to my website, RainaMoonAstrology.com, is below. Take care. Bye.